Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Zelda Cast here on ZeldaDungeon.net. My name is Andy Spiteri. Reunited after a week break with Allison Aletha. What's going on, Al? How are you?
I'm doing great. That was a nice break. I really appreciated waking up Sunday and being like, because sometimes when I'm out of town, I'll be like, oh, I gotta rush home so I can record with Andy. But I just told you ahead of time, like, I'm not gonna be there, and I didn't have to rush home. So it
It's
was kind of
nice.
nice.
It's nice. When you have a week off, you're just like, all right, I don't need to worry about recording. I don't need to worry about nothing.
Hmm.
It's a pretty good feeling. When you've been in this business as long as Al and I have, any kind of time off is really refreshing.
Hmm.
What were you doing with your well deserved time off there, Al? I can't remember. You went somewhere?
Yeah, so my best friend of like 25 years, he lives in central, or not central, like in Oregon, like the capital of Oregon,
Right.
which is about a 4.5 hour drive from me. So we see each other maybe once every 4 months or so, and that this is my turn to go visit him. And so yeah,
Right. Nice.
I
Nice.
hung out with him, did a lot of shopping. It was a good time.
Ooh, very nice. Well, we actually had quite the replacement for you last week, Al. I don't know if you got
I
to
did
listen or
listen.
not.
I did listen to the episode. It was a lot of fun.
I got a lot of really like positive feedback for having Sam on. I didn't think that anybody would make a big deal that like Sam's not a Zelda expert or anything like that. But that was always like a little bit in the back of my mind. It's like, I hope that that this goes well, and I thought
Yeah,
that it went really well.
I thought it was a fun time. There was a lot of like really funny, really cute moments. I love that even though like you're competitive and stuff, I feel like you tried to help her win. like
I was
like
trying. I said I
yeah, I
did
mean
everything but say Ocarina of Time is the first 3D Zelda
I
game.
know, I know. But there was like but even when she gave an answer, you always gave her like another chance or something. Or you made a face as like I did it in audio, but I'm assuming you made a face because she would be like, well, and then
Oh,
I love the part where there was like two parts where I laughed out loud. There was one where you were like, Al would definitely know the answer, and I was like, nope, I did not know the answer. The second one was when she asked you who married Hudson and Ronson, and I was like, I did know that, and I just thought it was funny because I knew you wouldn't know.
no, I had no clue.
So yeah,
Wedson.
that was a good time.
That was a good time.
Yeah.
And so people asked actually. They were like, we need to get Sam back on the show. So
Mhm.
maybe we'll have to do that. Maybe she'll have to cover for us, Al, because the Switch 2 is coming out in like a
Less than two
week.
weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy. That
Yeah.
really
As
does
of
seem like
when
wild that it's coming out like so soon. Like it doesn't feel
you
like
want to
I'm
know.
ready.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this. And so, yeah, we're like, what, 10 days away? I was thinking about how I'm not as hyped as I was for the Switch.
I
And
agree.
it's because Breath of the Wild was coming out with the Switch.
I agree. Yeah. Um,
So, I mean, I'm excited, but like at the same time, I'm going to be like, oh, I'll get it. I'll play a little bit of Mario Kart.
yeah.
I had to save a lot of the stuff I want to play until after the marathon anyways, so I'm just kind of like I'll have it and then maybe my excitement will grow towards August, you know?
I'm like 100% with you. And I like Mario Kart, and I think this Mario Kart game looks great, like
Mhm.
really
I
great.
agree.
I'm really
Yeah,
excited to
it's
play
really
it. But
fun.
for me, like yeah, Mario Kart isn't like the killer app that you launched.
Mhm.
I mean to be fair, like I don't think any game ever has competed with my level of anticipation for Breath of the Wild.
I agree. Yeah.
I
Same
think
here.
like that's got to be in the context of everything like my most anticipated game of all time, and it delivered too, which is just like a wild thing. Like that level of anticipation for Breath of the Wild to meet and exceed it is
Mhm.
incredible.
God,
But yeah, like even
I wish
if
I can go back. I
I
wish I could go
know,
back and experience for the first time both
watch that
Breath of the
trailer
Wild and
again.
Tears.
Oh,
Yeah.
um,
Anyways, continue.
yeah. So like I think like when Metroid Prime 4 gets a release date, that's when I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, like it's on like Donkey Kong, which is also gonna be a fun game that I'm gonna pick up.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, so it does kind of feel like it's sneaking up on us a little bit, and we're probably not far away from another Nintendo Direct here as well in June, just kind
Oh,
of
June, yeah.
detailing like some specific dates about like when some of this stuff is launching. Because like we still don't have dates for Metroid Prime or Pokemon or like a
Mhm.
couple of other big releases. So that can't be too far off. I wouldn't imagine. which is exciting.
I agree. I hope that they'll still do one in June. I think people were speculating if they would or wouldn't because they had the direct in April. But I mean, there's a difference between like the direct for the Switch 2 and like a Nintendo News Direct. So I think there'll still be one in June.
I think so too. I wouldn't. I'm not like as bullish as some of my other pal, like Doomel Crossing. Like he's just expecting it to happen. I think it's like 90% chance that it happens, but I couldn't say 100% chance. But I mean, we'll see. But I mean, they definitely got to announce some release dates for some games upcoming soon. I would. Yeah. I mean, including Age of Imprisonment. By the way, we should follow up, because there was some Age of Imprisonment news. We're going to get to Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks here in just a sec. But it looks like your worst case fears, Al, have been alleviated.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, like, yes. I thought you were going to tell me that they were about to be reality.
They've
I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. The four champions take their masks off. It was me, Austin. No, so Nintendo put out a developer, like, Q&A, basically. I forget what it's actually called, but they were talking about Age of Imprisonment, and they said something along the lines of, like, look forward to getting to know these four sages in the game, which certainly does seem to imply that there's not going to be any kind of shenanigans here, which I do think is good. I mean, like I said, I think it's challenging to, like, introduce, like, all these new characters in a game, but what's the path of less evil? Is it, having shenanigans, or is it introducing all these brand new characters? I would have probably said, I'd rather just four brand new characters. A lot of people ask me, they're like, oh, it looks like your idea is toast. I was like, it's not my idea. I don't want it, but I'm just saying I could have seen it happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I knew where you were coming from. I thought you were wrong, but like I knew where you were coming from.
Well, and listen, I hoped I was wrong too. Like, that's not exactly I mean, if you saw that would just be just like so deflating, but I wouldn't have been shocked.
Yeah, I hear you. I would say, like, my biggest takeaway from that video, because there wasn't a lot of new footage, and literally the only thing that people, like, highlighted was that caption saying, we're gonna get to know these sages. My biggest takeaway is they were saying that with the Switch 2, they could do so much more with, like, the armies. So, like, they're just gonna look bigger and better, I think. And so that makes me excited, because you can't do that on the Switch without, like, a significant amount of lag. So... Yeah. It makes me excited because it tells me that the Switch 2 is pretty powerful, and that the hordes they're ramping them up, and I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously I think we'll get like more details about that game in particular soon. I feel like I feel like the next big thing there is like introducing us to these sages. Like they should probably start naming these guys, and probably start like showing us like what they can do, like what makes them different than Rivali or Mifa or Riju or whatever. Like I think that they probably want to start sooner rather than later, like giving these guys some identifying qualities. So I think like if it's not going to be like a secret or a reveal, I think like the June Direct, like let's get to know these guys like right away. Is what I would
agree.
personally do.
The longer we have to get to know them, so that it's not such a like shock when we start the game up. I think that'd be good. I want to say they did that with both Tears and with Age of Calamity, where they would have like the art cards for the different characters. And they would like have a little blurb about them, leading up to the games. So I can see that happening again.
Yeah.
Although I don't get on Twitter, and that's where they primarily did it. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on Twitter.
So actually, Al, there is
or maybe the Nintendo Today app. They'll use that.
Yes, that quality Nintendo Today app is where you can find all the breaking news. No, there's like a bot that you can follow on Blue Sky, and it just like reposts all the Twitter posts that Nintendo of America makes.
Oh, from Nintendo?
Yeah,
okay.
That's what I like follow, and like you can't even tell the difference, or at least I can't.
That's good. Once again, I suck at social media, so I like very rarely get on Blue Sky.
I have to. Here's a little side story. I logged into. I had to log into Twitter for Omega Business because there was something I needed in like an old DM. First time I've been on Twitter since November. My God, My God, that place is just like it's like the future in X-Men where the Sentinels win. You know?
Oh, yeah. Um, I've been on Twitter just because Pokemon also like Pokemon Go also posts stuff on Twitter. So I'll click on their link, but like literally I only go to their post and I don't see anything
Yeah.
else. So
Well, that's good. Because
yeah.
yikes. All right, Al. I think that we should get into it here. We asked everybody. We're bringing the segment back. We haven't done it in a long time. And this is our hot takes episode. And essentially what we're going to do is this. We asked everybody to submit some hot takes that, or maybe they're not hot takes. I don't know. We'll see. But we asked everybody to submit kind of their opinion about Phantom Hourglass and about Spirit Tracks. And the way that this works is this. Some of these hot takes we're going to see as, yeah, you know what? I agree with that. I don't think that's that spicy of a take. Like, I agree. Or some of them were just be like, oh my God, can you believe what we just read? And we're going to play a little sound effect to accompany each of them. Mm-hmm. If I can get these sound effects to work, then yes, we will play a sound effect. But basically, we're just going to be doing it like, you know, this is like either really like unbelievable. I can't believe that this was just said, or it was and something that was just like, oh, you know what? That's really not that big of a spicy meatball. So we're gonna go through and we're gonna play these guys and we're gonna see.
I feel like we've done what, maybe 2 or 3 of these episodes, maybe just 2, and we should really just write down our format.
Yes,
because we always forget. Is it like Elden Hot, Hebra Cold, and there's like 2 others in the middle, and then there's the sound effects that we always have to look for.
Yes,
we just forget to put the link somewhere. We really need to write down the format.
Okay, let's do some testing here. I was trying to get these sound effects working, and I had a Goron scream because you were talking.
Oh no.
Which is funny because I can hear these sound effects, but Al can't.
I cannot. I'm deaf here.
Okay, let's do a little. Do we got a Hestu? Oh, we got a Hestu dance here. Ooh, bah, bah. Okay. Yes. So Elden Cold, and by the way, if we say that your hot take like isn't like a hot take, like so for example, if you say so, you know what, I'm just gonna pick on someone in our chat here, because I saw it and now I can't see it, but somebody said, like, this is my hot take. Yeah, here we go, actually. Flaky Blakey, excuse me. Spirit Tracks Overworld theme is a top 3 song in the series. Now, yeah. I think that is not a hot take. I actually think that's like a freezing cold take. So let's just do a practice one here. So I'm going to play the Hebra Cold. Here we go. Now, that doesn't mean that we disagree with you. It just means that I think like that's a pretty accepted like opinion to have. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think you'd find a lot of people saying like, oh yeah, that's a bad song, or like not like a really great Zelda track. And I think like if you were to make an like if someone were to make an argument to me that that's a top 3 Zelda song, I'd be like, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. I can buy that. It's
definitely in somebody's top 3 Zelda songs. I would say it's in a lot of people's, actually.
Oh, I mean, Mossie's just never shuts up about this song. Hyrule Castle and Spirit Tracks Overworld theme.
My only problem with the Spirit Tracks Overworld is when I'm playing it at the marathon and I have to listen to it for 6 hours straight. That's my only issue with it.
Yes.
But otherwise, it's such a jam.
You know, it's kind of got that Diddy Kong Racing thing to it. There's probably like a million games that do this, but this is just the one that pops to mind. Where like on the character select screen of Diddy Kong Racing, you heard the same theme, but depending on which character you were hovering over, it changed the instruments of that theme. So like Banjo was like playing with a banjo, and Diddy had like a guitar, and you know, et cetera, et cetera. It kind of, the Spirit Tracks theme reminds me of that too, where like depending on what realm you're in, like, you know, the forest realm has like the wooden sounds.
Versions. Yeah.
I don't know what's a. Do they play with bubbles in the water?
No, so there's different songs for those regions, but like the Overworld theme has 2 different themes, which is like the main one, but also the cursed one, which is like in the ice realm and the fire realm, I think.
I see.
So, yeah.
There you go. Okay, well, Al, I guess that we should just get into it here. We've explained as best as we can. I don't know, whatever. We're just gonna have some fun. We're gonna talk
We're
about
just gonna
Spirit
wing it.
Tracks. We're gonna talk about Phantom Hourglass. We're gonna play some funny little sounds here. So let's see
And
how
I'm
this
reading
goes.
today,
And Al is reading.
right?
She is the host, and I'm just the passenger here. I'm sitting in the caboose
This
of
is
this show.
the hot take stuff is like my baby, and especially with the DS games because I like them more than Andy does. So
Yes,
Okay.
that is fair to say.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. First hot take from our own Adrielle, who does a lot of work for the podcast. We love her so much. Okay. Also, forgive me for any mispronunciations or anything like that. See, I can't even talk already. All right. Not exactly a hot take, but I've never played either Spirit Tracks or Phantom Hourglass, but they seem like the lowest low-tier Zelda games to me, which is why I haven't played them. The controls seem clunky, and to quote Andy, let's be honest, they look horrible. I would rather play the Tingle games or the CDI games. Am I wrong?
I don't think that's a hot take, Al. I don't think that's a hot take. The only thing that I'm maybe hesitating here for is when Ree said that she'd rather play the Tingle games. I completely agree with that, but I do think you might find some people that push back against that.
I want to say that's where it becomes a hot take for me. I feel like I can understand why people think this is the lowest of the low tier Zelda games and why the controls seem clunky, why they look horrible. I can see all of that.
Right.
I might not completely agree. But like I've seen where these games place in the best Zelda ever list. I get it. But this is where I would say it's a hot take. I'd rather play the Tingle games or the CDI games. And I don't think there's a cult following for the Tingle games and the CDI games outside of Zelda Dungeon. So, like, I don't see that. So, I see that in Zelda Dungeon 100%. We love the CDI games. We love the Tingle games. Like, I get that. But, like, outside, this is where it becomes a hot take in the bigger fandom.
So I would say, yeah, like Now, the thing about the Tingle games is, like, I think if, like, people at mass, like, actually played them, I think you would have a lot of people saying, like, these games are better than Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks. I like, legitimately 100% believe that. Yeah, there would be some people that would say, like, well, it's not, like, a quote-unquote real Zelda game, so, like, that's just not going to do it for me. But it's not like these two games are beloved in the Zelda community. So I kind of don't think it's that much of a hot take. I would personally say, like, this is pretty... I would say no, it's not quite Hebrew cold, but it's maybe neutral at best.
I'm saying this, though, like, the CDI games include Zelda's Adventure. You'd rather play Zelda's Adventure than Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks? I would take that as a hot take.
Well, I mean, I don't
There's,
think
like,
that she's...
two people I know that want to play Zelda's Adventure over those two games. Well, actually, Ashton is one of them, and she loves Spirit Tracks, so I don't know.
I mean, I don't think Ree said specifically, like she'd rather play those games, right?
CDI games, which include Zelda's Adventure.
Oh, okay. You know what? I feel like maybe I'm neutral on this.
I want to say I'm neutral, leaning towards, like, what would we say, the Gerudo.
Let's go
Highland.
Gerudo warm and Elden hot.
Yeah.
Here. Well, I was leaning towards there's Hebra freezing and what's the step above that? Frozen Zora's Domain chili. I don't know.
Down our format for this segment.
We're coming off the rails already.
We need to go back and listen.
I think we got to go neutral because I think you're leaning like kind of 4 out of 5. I'm leaning 2 out of 5. I think if we go 3 out of 5, like fair. Neutral, like I think that's fair. I'm gonna play it. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Let's go. Sestu dance kind of sounds like a little Donkey Kong jingle, actually.
What is with you and Donkey Kong right now?
I don't know. Maybe I just got it in, a little DK on the mind.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I saw the new DK model, or Diddy Kong model, excuse me, by the way, in DK Bonanza. And I think that Diddy looks a lot better than DK looks with his new design. I will say that. I'm still just like I can't accept the new Donkey Kong design. I hate it.
I love it. I think it looks great.
I
I
it
don't
just
know
looks
how to.
so dumb to me. Like I hate it.
I'm sorry. I don't know how to fix that for you. I guess I
Well,
can.
I don't think anyone can. All right, let's move on. Thank you for that, Ree.
Okay, next one, Cat Shaft, another one of our staff here at Zelda Dungeon, I believe on the social team. I think Byrne in Spirit Tracks is a handsome little cutie, and I would love to see him in another Zelda title. I don't think he'd fit in a mainline one, but even a spin-off Hyrule Warriors or something would be fun to know more of his story.
I think I agree with that actually.
Even the handsome little cutie part?
Yeah, he's kind of like a cool. He's kind of like a cool character. I'm
Like a
pulling him up because I want to
serious.
get a good look at him once
Yeah.
again. But yeah, I think he looks cool.
Yes.
You know, pretty like a mysterious kind of figure. You know, a little mystery, little like he's kind of like Strider in Lord of the Rings a little bit. You know,
Yeah, before you get to know him.
before you get to know him, except he's kind of like the bad guy. I think his I've been pretty
His arm's
critical.
wicked.
Yeah, his arm looks cool. Like I've been critical of how these games look, and I think deservedly so. But I will say I think that Byrne is one of the better like character designs.
Hmm.
Oh, come on, you can't tell me that you think these games look like $1,000,000.
No, they don't look like $1,000,000, but they have charm.
I'm not saying they don't have charm, but they look bad. Like
Okay.
I think we could just factually
I
say
think
like
for
they look
their
bad.
time on the DS, they look okay.
Well, okay, if okay is our bar, I guess I can meet you there. But
Okay.
I think Byrne looks cool.
Byrne looks great.
He was one of the probably highlights of Spirit Tracks, to be honest.
Hmm.
Um, I would say,
Yeah, when you like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
well, just to finish that, I would say like Hyrule Warriors or something like that. It is really the only place where I think that you could bring a character like that back. Like a character like Vaati, I think you can still insert him into like future Zelda games, but I don't see it with Byrne, so like I don't anticipate him really ever coming unless they do like a direct sequel to Spirit Tracks, which I guess is always possible. But yeah, I don't know. I think like he's pretty cool. Yeah.
I agree with the notion that I would like to get to know him more. He is a highlight of Spirit Tracks, especially when you're paying attention to the story. I know not a lot of people like speedrun this game, so this is just me. But like, you miss a lot of him when you're just speedrunning the game. But like, yeah, he's a highlight. I always love a redemption character. That's like one of my like Achilles heel. I love redemption arcs in
Sure.
story. So, and he has one. And I think the problem though is like bringing him back into a game like Katie said, like not a mainline one, which I agree with. But he's in such a like a niche thing with the Locomos and the Spirit Tracks that like I can't see unless we do like some kind of Spirit Tracks sequel where we're using the
Yeah.
Spirit Tower or whatever and the special magical tracks. Fine, but like I don't see him ever coming back for any reason. But I loved his redemption. I love that you learn he's like a Locomo and that it was kind of like a plot twist. And yeah, sure, he's handsome. I can dig that.
I think he's kind of handsome. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think this is a hot take. I think once people think about it, it's kind of like a 2 out of 5.
I would even say like a 1 out of 5 if I'm being honest. Yeah, the only thing, like I mean, like you said, I agree with you. I don't think that people are absolutely begging for a Spirit Track sequel, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're gonna see him again. And to be honest with you, I kind of wonder if like Hyrule Warriors games are just going to be like tied into kind of like what we've seen with Imprisonment and Age of Calamity, where it's like the games are
Yeah.
tied into like the most recent Zelda game. I think that's probably like the best format for those games if they're going to keep making them. So like again, it's like, well, how do you get this guy into a
I mean,
Hyrule Warriors game like that?
He would have been a good show up in the OG Hyrule Warriors because
Yeah.
they have the whole multi-dimensional travel where
Yeah.
they bring all these characters and it made total sense. Instead we got like Ravio, so which is fine. He's fun to play as, but so is Yuga in that game. But like yeah, that would be where the instance where I could see him. I
Yeah.
don't know if we're ever going to go back to that format in Hyrule Warriors. Maybe. We never know.
All right, let's play it. That is the shivering, ice cold take there, Katie. But again, like these takes are ones that I agree with.
Mhm.
I think that like if she was like, you know, Byrne is the worst part of Spirit Tracks, that would have been a hot take, because
Yeah,
I
that
think
would
a
have been a
lot
hot
of
take.
people would have said, like, including me, that he's one of the better parts of the game.
Hmm.
So there
All
we
right.
go.
Up next, this is a lot. We have a few from Bat Rogue.
Thank
This
you, Bat
first
Rogue.
one is pretty long, so bear with me.
Hmm.
Okay, Bat Rogue. Phantom Hourglass has a good soundtrack and in no way deserves to be labeled as the Zelda game with the worst music. I admit, in terms of what you're going to hear throughout most of the game, that the music does suck, like the dungeon theme, generic island theme. But in terms of actual original soundtrack, Phantom Hourglass has lots of good music. Limebeck's theme is an obvious, but there's so many others. Osha's theme is sad but beautiful piece. Ciella's theme is a wonderful, happy tune. Bellum's fight theme is so jazzy and fun. The ship chase music at the end of the and the boss theme with their almost military march feel, and versus Limebeck's dark twist on the theme we know. This is not a hot take to me at all. I love this. I love this. I'm so excited to hear this.
Uh, Come on, Al. That's a hot take. That's a hot.
No, okay. I can hear every single piece that Bat Rogue brought up. I can hear Lineback, the twist on Lineback's theme, because he's been, like possessed by Bellum, so he's Bellumbeck now. Osha's theme at the end of the game with the bagpipes is like one of my favorite, most like highlights of music in Zelda ever. I always like wait till the end of the game so I can hear it. I love it so much. Like Ciella's theme is also pretty nice. I wouldn't say it's a highlight, but like those ones that I brought up are like very big highlights for me, and I love this. I wouldn't say. And like also Bat Rogue states like some of the generic like songs that you hear through, like those aren't great, but like the original stuff that you get from Phantom Hourglass is great.
All right. So you know what I just heard? I just heard Bat Rogue say a lot of these songs suck. In that, right? Like those words, those are not my words. Those are theirs. I heard you say like, yeah, there's like 4 or 5 tracks that are fine. Like they're fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like when we're talking about the bar for Zelda music, fine is like a low bar. Like that's you can't have music that's just fine. Like the question was like,
I didn't say fine. I'm pretty sure I said they were great.
well, I those tracks to me are fine at best, I guess is what I'm saying. And like
Mm-hmm.
like if I'm going through the list of games here, and I'm gonna tell you, or I'm gonna ask you, like, do you think Phantom Hourglass has a better soundtrack than Ocarina of Time?
No, you can't throw out the big ones. So the
Oh, okay.
statement
Well,
is
what about this? Do you think
has a
Ocarina of
good
Time has a
soundtrack.
better?
Sorry, has a good soundtrack. No way deserves that it's the Zelda game with the worst music. That is the comment.
Well, let me flip that. What game do you think has a better or a worse soundtrack than Phantom Hourglass?
Probably the ones that only have like 2 or 3 like good tracks, like Link's Adventure. I would say like
I think that's crazy that you just said Adventure of Link has a worse soundtrack than
whatever.
you've got the
Adventure of Link.
temple theme, you've got the Great Temple theme, you've got the
You
overworld
got like
theme.
2 good songs, and
Yeah,
you're
I
saying
think
over
that
here,
context matters too. The games were made like 25 years apart as well.
Mhm.
But I mean,
Okay.
continue. Like what else, what
I
other
would say
game?
the Oracle games only have 1 or 2 good tracks in them. Memorable, great tracks. I would say
I
the
don't
Oracle's
know.
worse than the DS games.
I don't think I agree. I think I think that like the highs of the oracles are higher than the highs of Phantom Hourglass. Like
No.
it's a very, this is like a paint by numbers. I feel like soundtrack. It's not like unlistenable, but it's not.
I can
I
literally
would
think of
I would
one
say it's the
song
weakest.
from the Oracle games that I think is a bop, and that's the Dancing Dragon theme, dungeon theme, and it's because I can remember it, and it goes do 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 do, like it's so good, like it's a bop. But I still wouldn't put that higher than like Linebeck's theme.
I would. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I would. I think that's a pretty hot take. And like props to you. I respect that you're going to bat for Phantom Hourglass. I just like, I don't know.
And that's, I also just for this comment in the chat from Lo-Fi, Adventure Link soundtrack is absolute gas. What is Al on about? I'm not saying like the songs are bad. I'm just saying there's like only two really good ones to me. And Andy's over here saying to him, there's only like the songs are just fine. And you know what? We can all just agree to disagree. This is not a hot take to me.
Well, actually, we cannot agree to disagree, Al, because we have to play a sound here. So we gotta negotiate.
A very middle ground take.
Oh, you have to admit, okay? Now hold on. Put your own personal feelings aside. You have to admit. I think most people, most Zelda fans would agree that the soundtrack for Phantom Hourglass kind of stinks. Would you agree with that?
Why don't you put your own personal feelings aside and admit that Linebeck is a great song?
I sure. Yeah, sure. Great A+. But like let's take a step back. Like if you were to poll 50 Zelda fans,
for me the take is Zelda, it's not the worst. It's not the Zelda game that has the worst music. And for me that's not a hot take.
I think that is a hot... I think if you were to poll like 100 random Zelda fans, I bet you a good majority of them would say Phantom Hourglass has the worst soundtrack.
I don't think so.
I think they would. How about this? Can we compromise, say it's like Gerudo Warm?
Yeah, we can meet in the middle.
Gerudo Warm. Okay, here we go. It's the Guardian. This is what Al wants to do to me right now. I don't know. I feel quite strongly that if you listen, there's no bigger I feel like Phantom Hourglass apologist than Mossy Segopian. Okay, and you know this. This guy like does everything. He has tried so many times to get me to love this game, and even he will tell you it's the weakest soundtrack.
I say we ask him and
Do it.
without any prompts, just be like, Mossy's, what do you think? Which Zelda game has the worst soundtrack?
Okay, I'm gonna do it literally right now, and I'll have the answer.
No prompts, no nothing.
No, yep, no, 100%, and I'll do it in a public chat as well, so that you can see that there's no shenanigans.
You have to ping him so that he actually sees it.
Yes. Okay. All right. Let's move on.
Okay. All right. The next one from Bat Rogue. Second hot take. Not only do I love Temple of the Ocean King, it's in my top 10 dungeons. But I think the repeated trips back to it improve the pacing of the game rather than
Come on, Al. You know that's a hot take.
That's a hot take.
I don't care what we're playing it. Here we go.
That's a hot take.
Well, we gotta play it twice. I can't play. We gotta play it one more time. That's Goron Link falling into lava. Oh my god. I love that you said that, Bat Rogue. That makes me light up inside. That's
what
great.
What are your thoughts?
I like read it over. They said that the Temple of the Ocean King is a great dungeon and improves the pacing of the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hot take. That's a hot take. Like, you know, what can you say? I think that, and I'm not even talking about my like own, you know, perspective here. I think if you were to ask again, like 100 Zelda fans, I don't know if Temple of the Ocean King would be a beloved dungeon. Is that fair to say, Al?
I think that's fair to say.
Okay.
And Rogue, we can discuss this later in the Discord. Everybody can discuss these hot takes later in the Discord once this episode comes out. But listen, I'm a defender of Temple of the Ocean King, but I understand that I'm in the minority that knows how to do it and knows how to do it efficiently. And I would say there's like maybe 1 to 2 too many visits back to the Temple of the Ocean King. And I do think it kind of like chops up the pacing. So I know how to make it so the pacing isn't horrible. I do two trips to the Temple of the Ocean King in one, and that brings the pacing back up a little. But if I did that separately, the pacing would be like, it would not be a fun time for me personally.
Yeah.
So for this specific comment, while I do enjoy Temple of the Ocean King, I would say this is a hot take because it does not, I wouldn't say it improves. But Balrog, I would love to hear your reasonings why.
Yeah, like, I mean, again, like, I don't know if you're going to find a lot of people that are like, oh, like, going back to the Temple of the Ocean King, like, really improves the pacing and the flow of the game. Because, I mean, like, I don't think it does at all. And I actually, like, I should say, like, I don't hate the idea like the concept of Temple of the Ocean King, about like a central place that you need to continually go back to, and you can unlock further and further. It's got some Metroidvania elements to it, actually.
I was gonna say, isn't that like a Metroidvania thing?
Kind of, yeah. Like it kind of is. So I don't actually think that it's like that in concept. I don't think it's like that terrible. But I do kind of think like when you talk about the dungeon itself and like the aesthetic of the dungeon, each floor looks pretty similar, and there's like a lot of similar things that you do. I do think that, and like the slow pace when you get there as well, like, you know, going away from the phantoms. I do think that like the more you go back, it does kind of like grind the game down a little bit. By the way, I want to let people know, because I'm going to be, and I have been critical of both of these games. I still like Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks. Like I can play the game and have a good time with it, and do Temple of the Ocean King or Tower of Spirits and have a good time with it. So don't get it twisted, okay? I don't hate these games, but I'm speaking for the common Zelda man here.
Yeah, that was definitely a hot take.
Yes, that was a great hot take. That's what we're talking about.
I think the next couple paragraphs is Bat Rogue's explanation, so we're not going to read those just because there's a few. So this is actually not 13 hot takes, but that's okay. Okay. And then Bat Rogue, you could just copy and paste those into Discord, and we'll chat about them later.
Do it.
All right. The next one from Ginger. All right, DS hot take. Spirit Tracks is one of the best Zelda games of all time. Definitely top 5. It has some of the best gameplay, story, and characters in my opinion. It had a charm that no other game had. Let me repeat the statement. Spirit Tracks is one of the best Zelda games of all time. Definitely top 5.
I think that's a hot take, Al. I think that's a hot take. Is that all the way?
Yeah.
I think so too.
Go for it.
Now, I don't think that's worthy of playing 2 Goron falling into lava there. Because
I have to look at where I rank this, because I don't think it's my top 5. No, it's not. It's not even top 10. But
you know, the thing that sticks out to me there is like it's got a charm unlike any other game. It's got the exact same charm as Phantom Hourglass does. Where, you know,
well,
like,
I would say it's a slightly different charm, but like I agree with what you are trying to say.
I mean, I guess like this game does have like a pretty spunky Princess Zelda, and you do get to play as Zelda. But I don't know, man. Like that's hey, you know, and there's lots of different reasons why different games can appeal to different people. I'm certainly not going to try and talk you out and say like this is not a top 5 Zelda game. I think like for me, and I guess I think I feel pretty confident speaking generally for a broad selection of Zelda fans, because like, you know, I ran the best Zelda ever list for 5 plus years or whatever it was. And Spirit Tracks always kind of, it wasn't a dead last game, but it certainly wasn't like a top 10 game either. And I think that it's like there's a couple of common elements that prevent it from being there, which is like, one, the controls are, you know, they are what they are. They're the DS controls. Number 2, that the exploration in Spirit Tracks is kind of non-existent, and actually by default, like you are on a train, and that's how you get to where you're going. And then number 3 is just kind of like the look of the game itself, like, and that's true for Phantom Hourglass. But I will say, I think a lot of people have also pointed out, like, consistently, like, the game has a really good soundtrack. The game does have pretty like compelling characters, so I'm not gonna say like that's a ridiculous notion to have a top 5. I think it's a hot take, though. I'll say that.
This is so fun because we always talk about at the marathon that every Zelda game is at least one person's like favorite, right? So, and this is showing us that is the case. And while I love these games and I would never put them dead last, like ever, I have them kind of in the middle of the pack for me, and that makes total sense for me. And so I like hearing that somebody actually thinks this is their top 5 Zelda. I really like hearing that, and I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, while it is a hot take, but like I think that's awesome for you.
Yeah, totally. There's someone in our Omega community, and their favorite Metroid game is Metroid Prime Federation Force. Which, to put it in context, that would be like somebody saying their favorite Zelda game is Triforce Heroes. Okay, and you know what? Like, power to you if that is the case, right? Like, that would be a hot take saying that, but I do think that it's like kind of like, okay, well, you know what, you like what you like, and you don't have to apologize for it. So I think like there's lots and lots and lots of things that would prevent Spirit Tracks from being a top 5 game to me, but I could hear, the argument, not even an argument, like a lot of people just have like personal experiences attached to this
Very
game.
true.
So hey, you know what, power to you.
Very true. All right, thank you, Ginger. Oh, Ginger has a second one. All right, here we go. Oh, God. Ginger says, also, I believe Phantom Hourglass had a better story and pacing than Wind Waker. The character arcs in Phantom Hourglass were amazing.
Oh. I think that's a hot take.
I think that's a hot take,
I think
too.
that's a hot take, and I think we have to play it. Here we go. You know what actually I can't. I was going to try and say, like, I could maybe make an argument for Phantom Hourglass having better pacing than Wind Waker. I don't think I can do that, though. Just with everything we talked about with Temple of the Ocean King and how that kind of plays out. It certainly, I don't think, has a better story and characters. Like, not a chance. Like, I'm sorry.
I'm, like, I do think, like, some characters maybe are standouts in Phantom Hourglass, but not a lot. You lose Tetra entirely, which you have Tetra and her story in Wind Waker, which I think is a pretty big deal. I personally love Linebeck's story, and he also has like a small redemption. I love that. So because he's just a slime ball the whole time until the end, and I love it. Link just kind of goes on a journey in both. I guess Oshus and King of Red Lions could be considered similar.
Yeah.
As far as guiding factors for Link. But I find the story much more compelling in Wind Waker, I think. Because you have Ganondorf as a bad guy, I think that's might be a little cheating. But like Bellum is not that interesting, unfortunately. Like, he's just there.
I think Bellum is the worst villain in the series. I'm gonna put it out there.
I love to be like, Bellum is the greatest villain. No, but I don't believe that. But like, it's fun to pretend.
Yes.
He's not compelling at all. I don't know. There's just like there's stuff going on in Phantom Hourglass, but it's just not that deep for me as compared to like Wind Waker.
Like it doesn't. Wind Waker feels big. Like it feels like there's a big story with big implications and big characters. Yeah, like you're seeing Hyrule flooded. You're seeing the king of Hyrule. You're seeing the Triforce. You're seeing Link and Zelda team up like in combat for this epic confrontation with Ganondorf. You're seeing all of these like really exceptional side characters and like the Beatles and the pirates and stuff like that. I don't think Wind Waker's story is perfect. I'm not like the biggest fan of the Tetra to Zelda reveal, but it's just got so much more going on than Phantom Hourglass does. And you know what? I will say this. I like Linebeck in Phantom Hourglass. I think like he is clearly and far away the best part of that game. I don't think you'd have a lot of people arguing that. But I mean, like if you take that out. What does that game have going on?
You have Ciela, but like half of her characteristics are banter with Linebeck. So like and then but there's also the story element too of like when you wake up at the end and you're just kind of like, oh, this was like some parallel universe or something, and like did any of this exist or whatever? Did Oshus create it? Did Bellum create whatever? And so yeah, there's that kind of like mystery, but like again, it's just kind of like written off a little bit. Like, oh, that's it. It was a mystery at the end, and you're just kind of like, oh, okay, interesting. I have to think about that harder, maybe not. I don't know. I could just let it go.
I think too, like the pacing of the Wind Waker is definitely not perfect at all. especially the
That's an
OG Wind
18.
Waker.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that one I wouldn't say. I think you could maybe make like an argument. I don't think I'd buy it, but you can make the argument that Phantom Hourglass has the better pacing of the two. But both of them together, I don't know. That's a tough sell for me.
I don't think Phantom Hourglass has better pacing than Wind Waker because Wind Waker HD, I'll amend, because there's the only thing that really messes up the pacing for me is Triforce Hunt, and that's improved in HD. So I still like the pacing in Wind Waker compared to if I were playing Phantom Hourglass as it's meant to be played. You go back to the Temple of the Ocean King like one too many times. Yeah. And it's just it's too much. So, and I feel like that grinds it to a halt.
Like I think for me too in Wind Waker, like a big pacing killer was like constantly having to change the direction of the wind, which is also fixed in HD.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like the two biggest knocks against it taken away. And we should follow up on something I just said here. I said Bellum is the worst villain in the series. Batrogue asked me worse than Astor.
Oh man, I think Astor's worse.
You know, that's a great point.
Astor's so bad.
I think Astor is really bad. Like really bad, but like in like a create a character generic kind of bad guy kind of a vibe.
But also just like really it was a disappointment.
Yeah.
Like, he was so cool looking in the trailers and stuff and we were excited about him and then he was just really disappointing.
Yeah.
At least Bellum was disappointing from the start.
Well, Bellum is just like nothing. It's like talking about like a random enemy. You know, like that's what he might as well be, is just like a random enemy.
I'd have to like jump back into the lore because again, I speedrun these games, so I had to jump back into the lore about Bellum and like the alternate universe and that stuff to really like fully understand it.
Yeah. You know what? I think I've got it. I would say this. I think Asterd is the most disappointing, but I still think Bellum's probably worse.
Would you, just because there's like not a lot going on with Bellum, or do you, like, because I think the Bellum fights are a lot of fun. Especially Bellum Beck is a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, they're okay.
Aster,
but like,
you don't really fight Aster. You just fight projections that he.
That's true.
Summons, you know.
I mean, the fight itself is like fine, but I think the Bellum fight is worse than oh god, like the tentacle boss in Skyward Sword, right? Like,
well,
which is kind of sort of the same. Well, it's kind of sort of the same sort of concept.
No.
Whatever. You're right. Actually, that one is infinitely better.
It is.
This is what I think. I think like for a final boss, like you should have someone that you care about beating. And I like even like you could say like General Onyx from Seasons is a pretty like ho hum final boss, and I would agree with that. But at least like he's kind of like this cool, like really kind of badass looking dude. Where I don't know. I think Bellum is pretty rough. And a great point here in our chat as well from Legend of Rivali. Link is also much more bland in Phantom Hourglass than Wind Waker because of the worse graphics. I think that's true.
There's some really funny moments in Phantom Hourglass if you watch all the cutscenes.
There's some
great moments in Phantom Hourglass and Link making like doing funny stuff. So I mean, I wouldn't say he's bland.
I think that it's what I agree with here is like I think it's harder to convey the expressiveness and on the DS, of course, than it would be on the GameCube. I think that's fair.
Okay, yeah, like in 3D on the game, yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
But I do feel like he's pretty expressive. I don't know.
It's hard to tell with all those pixels crunched down together.
Listen, I've been playing it very recently, so like I have this all fresh in my brain, and I just think of like all the stuff that they do, which is like when Link holds up the Phantom Hourglass and it gets swiped from his hand is really funny, or when Linebeck accidentally knocks over Tetra because he's leaning on her, the statue of Tetra.
I haven't played Phantom Hourglass since like I think since we definitively ranked it, and I was so hungover that morning. And I was like, oh my god, I got to do this show in like 5 minutes with Moss and Al. And
like 6 years ago. Oh my god.
I literally like threw up right before, and then I was like, okay, let's go. And then as soon as it was done, I died.
Oh no.
That was a tough one. All right, what do we got next?
Okay, Metal Jack 98 says, flaming take. Tetra should have stayed in Spirit Tracks.
Like the Tetra character should have stayed in Spirit Tracks?
Yes, that's what we mean. I don't know if that's necessarily a take because it's impossible to happen.
Yeah.
It can
Let's play the
happen.
Hestu dance to talk about it.
Okay.
I'm gonna play. Here we go. It really does sound like a Donkey Kong theme. Um, I maybe we should have played like a hotter take because, like I was saying, I think when you talk about Spirit Tracks and like the things that people will consistently say that they like, soundtrack comes to mind, and I think like one thing that I've noticed over our time together here in the Zelda business is like a lot of people like the interpretation of Princess Zelda in this game.
Hmm.
So like
She's great.
if you have Tetra, you can't have Zelda.
That
And also like that just doesn't make any sense either.
It doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. Um, I don't know. Like maybe because all these characters have like ancestors, so Link is like, you know, like Link from Phantom Hourglass is his ancestor from Spirit Tracks or whatever. And then Tetra is the ancestor to Zelda, which I mean that makes sense, but like you wouldn't have her. You wouldn't have Tetra again. I just sorry. This statement just kind of throws me off. It doesn't make plausible sense. It wouldn't happen unless maybe Tetra stayed alive like Nico did and was there 100 years later, and she was just like off doing her own thing. I don't know, but like it just wouldn't make sense for Tetra to be in Spirit Tracks. And Zelda in Spirit Tracks is amazing. So
Yeah. We better upgrade this, I think, to the Guardian take here, Al.
okay.
The flaming ray of death from the Guardian. Okay. Yeah, I think that would make Spirit Tracks like actively worse if Tetra was in that game. Al, I want to just quickly direct you to the Zelda Cast Discord chat here. We do not have an answer from Mossies, but we do have an answer from Gooey Fame. Do you know what Gooey Fame said?
Phantom Hourglass.
Said Phantom Hourglass as the worst
Okay, I don't
soundtrack in the
know.
Zelda series.
I don't know about Gooey's opinions most times.
I swear on my life, I did not message him. I will show you my messages. I haven't talked to him since last night. I did not prompt him to do this.
Okay, fair enough. But he likes games like the Oracle games stuff, so
Whatever. I mean, like, you can like a game, you can still say it has bad music, or good, or a game that you don't like that has good music.
that's true.
Just
But
saying.
our question was for Mossies, who's the biggest Phantom Hourglass.
I see him online. I don't know what he's doing.
fan.
I know he sees me. Answer
Yeah,
me.
him again.
Maybe you ping him. Maybe he responds to you further. I bet you he does actually. I think
No,
pretty
I
much
think
any
he knows
time I
a few
answer
times.
him. Oh yeah. I have like the 3 to 5 business day lock on my
I think he's like
responses.
me with text messages where you like look at it and be like, I'm gonna reply to this later. And I just forget.
Maybe.
That's what I
Yes.
do with text messages. I'm so sorry to anybody who texts me.
Yes.
Okay. Are we ready to move on?
Yes, I'm ready.
I'm sorry, Metal Jack, your take was it
It
didn't
was a
make
weird
sense to me.
one.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it was a weird one.
Okay. Spyco Live. I think I said that right. Phantom Hourglass would be more beloved if it was on a console, but at the same time, it wouldn't be nearly as good of a game off the DS.
It would definitely be more beloved if it was on a console, for sure.
Yeah.
But at that point, like, it's just a sequel to Wind Waker. I think, like, I kind of agree in a sense that, like, the gimmick, like, the selling point of this game was kind of like being able to play Wind Waker on the go. Like, I think that was like the big kind of hook about this game. I think it would be better if it was on console, like much better by virtue of the fact that you could just move with a joystick alone. That would improve this game to me like significantly.
I
Significantly.
think what they're saying is like, yes, that would improve the game and make it more beloved because it's on a console and you can control it normally, but it wouldn't be as good because you're getting rid of those stylus controls. And that is like the main focus of these games.
I think those were kind of separate. So my interpretation of this is like if it just by virtue that it's on a console, it's going to be more beloved. And I agree. I think like you look at our best Zelda ever list, the console games are what's the big ones there. So I agree with that. I disagree. Like, I think if you took it off the DS, got rid of all those silly touch controls, that doesn't make it worse. It makes it better.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I interpreted them saying it wouldn't be nearly as good because you take it off the DS and take away those controls.
Do you agree with that?
No, I don't think so. Um, this is why I think the mouse controls would be really good for the games because I think that outside of like control, so like the items, I feel like using the stylus for the items is a lot of fun and makes a lot of sense. Boomerang, hammer, bomb shoes makes a lot of sense. But the movement, if you could just put that on a controller and it would be fine. I think it would be actually be a lot more comfortable, a lot better. I tell you what, I have this thing called DS Shoulder. I've had it for like 7 years now, because that's how long I've been playing Phantom Hourglass, or maybe it's been 8 years, for the marathon. And when you play in that position for 5 hours straight or 6 hours straight in Spirit Tracks sense, your shoulders start to feel a little jacked, where you get this like claw from holding the stylus. And I mean, maybe it's not as bad for kids, but for a 30-something, it's not that fun.
I'm a 30-something with back problems here. Yeah, come on.
I have back problems too, so it's not great. So I mean, if you just took away half of that BS and made it just regular controls, I feel like a lot of people would actually really appreciate it and it would improve the DS games. But just don't take away. Figure out how we could still have those kind of controls, like I said, with the mouse controls for the items, because I think that's the focus. Is the items were really cool.
Yeah, I think the trade-off, if you're asking me, like, is it a worth it trade-off to lose how the items function to control normally? I'm gonna say yes.
Mm-hmm. I just don't see how you would, like with the boomerang. How would you do boomerang controls on a regular controller?
You know what? It would probably be exactly the same as it was in the Wind Waker. Like, that's probably what it would be.
They would have to change so many puzzles, though.
They would, yeah.
They would have to change the placement of so much stuff in order for that to be accomplished.
Yeah. They would, totally. But I think that it would be still probably better. Now maybe, I mean, it depends on what console, too. Like, we're hypothetically, right? Like, if this hypothetically came out on the Wii U, you still could have your cake and eat it too, where like the characters move, but you've got your gamepad. And to be honest, you could probably do that on you could probably do that on a Switch too.
So the Wii U, it was on the Wii U, but I mean, obviously you couldn't control it with the controller, but it was perfect with the gamepad to play with the stylus. So if they had just like molded those together, perfect. I think the Switch 2 would be perfect because of the mouse controls. You could play with the Joy-Cons, and then you could flip your mouse down and like control the boomerang or whatever, or the bump shoes, whatever. Or draw the pictures that you need to on the doors, or whatever you got to do with the motion controllers.
Yeah. I know the question was about Spirit Tracks, but like, I would also love to get rid of that stupid flute. Like, sitting there like a putz, like blowing into your flute is the worst. I think this isn't like a hot take, but I would say like a just above hot take.
I want to say just above hot take because of the statement not nearly as good.
Yeah. Okay.
Off the DS.
Let's play it. All right. Here we go.
Okay. Are you ready for our last one that we have here?
Yes, which is perfect timing, actually, for me. So I am ready.
Okay. Free gratis. I think I said your name right. My hot take is they're arguably the worst games in the series with the lame and tired Toon Link art style.
I don't think that's a hot take at all.
I think that's a sad take. I feel sad.
They are... I know that we have some fun. Like, I think Twilight Princess is an ugly damn game, okay? But there are different types of ugly in this world. There's a game like Twilight Princess that chooses to be ugly. It's just, it's warped. It's deranged. It's a little bit frightening at times. It's just a classically ugly game, okay? Mm-hmm. But then there's a game like Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks who really should be beautiful. They should have, because we've seen it. We've seen the beautiful cel-shaded stylings of the Wind Waker. Even the OG Wind Waker looks fantastic, right? Not even HD. And to see that just like crunched down and condensed and like just like, if you've ever tried to search, as I have, this is very niche, but like when I put these episodes together, I always look for a thumbnail, right? If you ever try and find a screenshot of Phantom Hourglass and not Twilight Princess, the other game we're talking about, Spirit Tracks, that isn't like official artwork, it's incredibly hard because it's like there are no good looking screenshots that exist out there.
I'll tell you the one screenshot there's one, only one, and it's
Okay.
Link on the boat with the island in the background with the big like anchor thing that's like hanging over. That's like the one good screenshot you got because it was official art.
Well, but that's what I mean. That it's official art. It's not like an in-game screenshot. Like,
Yeah.
finding in-game screenshots is terribly difficult, and it will probably give me troubles tonight as we do this episode as I edit it. I don't think that's a hot
really
take.
good screenshots because we have them on Zelda Dungeon with the Phantom Hourglass guide, so you have that. But like, I agree with you. My only thing is like, is that the fault of them just being on the DS? Like, if they were on console, they wouldn't look like that.
Yeah, sure, but they're not.
But I'm just saying, like, it's just a consequence. Like, we talk about the consequences of time, right? That like the earlier games.
Sure,
No.
but like as we just talked about, like the whole games are based around being on the DS. Like the entire game is laid out, the gameplay is laid out, and like you can't separate them. And because they are, they are on the DS, they do look like that. And
And maybe if we had waited a few more years and waited for the 3DS, they probably would have looked better too.
yeah. And like the other thing too is like, you didn't have to do that art style on the DS if it wasn't powerful enough to do it. There was nothing wrong with doing like a pixelated art style or something like that. I mean, granted, like you wanted the 3D movement, but like I think you could have done something that didn't look as. I've said this like a million times. If you're making a sequel, you can either be better than what came before you, worse than what came before you, or different than what came before you. And to its credit, Spirit Tracks is at least like kind of different than. But like Phantom Hourglass is just so significantly worse than Wind Waker. Like it's not different, it's not better.
I would never sit here and say that Phantom Hourglass is worse. But like, I also find the comment like tired Toon Link art style really weird because it's not, at the time it wasn't tired. It's like the continuation of the Switch Zeldas and the you know.
I agree. I don't think it was tired.
Yeah, so I find that comment kind of like, I don't know about that, but I also wouldn't say I wouldn't argue that they're the worst games in the series, because again, I've seen the best Zelda ever list. They're not always at the bottom.
No,
I think we know who's always at the bottom. So like I would say this is like a medium hot take to me.
Read me the hot take just one more time. More time.
They are arguably the worst games in the series with the lame and tired Toon Link art style.
See, my interpretation is he's just talking about the art style.
My interpretation is that he's saying they're the worst games in the series and that they have the lame and tired Toon Link art style. And even if that was the point, if it was the art style that was the point, I would still disagree because you have stuff like Zelda's Adventure.
Yeah, like Zelda's Adventure at least has some charm to it, though. I think I would say these games have the. It's not that the art style actually is even that bad. It's just like graphically it looks terrible. Like the art style is fine, but the game can't support
like,
the art style.
My head agrees with you, but my heart is just like, stop being mean to my games.
You gotta separate that, Al. This is a cold business, okay? I will say this. I'm gonna go neutral there. I don't like for me personally. I actually did rank these two as the worst Zelda games. But I couldn't sit here and say, like, again, I think you ask 100 Zelda fans, like, what their least favorite Zelda, like 100 Zelda fans that have played all the games, I think you get like a lot of like, well, actually, I wasn't even counting Triforce Heroes is way worse than these games, like way worse. But I was talking like official Zelda games. Like I think even people say like Adventure of Link is the worst game. So I don't agree with that. I personally would say these, other than Triforce Heroes, are my least favorite Zelda games.
Mm-hmm.
Let's play it. Let's do neutral, because I agree about the art style. You know what? Actually, no, I don't agree about the art style. I just the DS doesn't have the capability to pull off that art style. That's the issue.
Yeah, I would agree.
Maybe that's a hot take. I don't know.
That's why I'm saying it's slightly spicy for me.
Okay, let's play it. I agree with you. All right. We should do.
I have no idea what's playing, but he's doing stuff, so I'm just.
We should do like one super. I gotta go here, so we gotta make it quick. But let's do like one really quick one from the chat, because we did throw it out there for people, and I'll read it here. This is a second one from Flaky Blakey. I'm playing through Phantom Hourglass emulated on my phone. Honestly, the Temple of Ocean King is really not that bad. I think it gets far too much hate. The items you get from the dungeons following streamline. The early sections of the dungeon very fast. That's basically it.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say that's a hot take. I agree with that.
I think I would still say that's a hot take, just talking to like the common Zelda fan. Mm-hmm. I would say that that's a hot take, but I do think that maybe here's what I would say. If Phantom Hourglass ever got like a re-release on the Switch or something like that, I think that more people would kind of be in tune with this, because like for me, like the movement definitely slows it down for sure.
Yeah, the only reason I don't think this is a hot take is because I'm comparing it to Balrog, and Balrog was saying like it improves the pacing, which I disagreed with. Yeah. But this is actually something I do agree with, because like that's the point of the game. The point of the game is to get the items to help you breeze through the Temple of the Ocean King quicker. And there's only like, once you do the first section, they're saying everything goes really quickly when you go back, like super quickly. And even like the last Temple of the Ocean King, it's so fast. Like you barely do anything. You just breeze through the whole thing. And yeah, so I feel like I agree with that statement wholeheartedly. And I would say that's actually kind of an ice cold take for me personally. I
guess like for me, I'm just like, yes, you can fly through the Temple of the Ocean King like quicker, but is it that fun to do? And obviously, like that's in the eye of the beholder.
I would see it as fun because you come back and you're like, oh, I don't have to do this whole shenanigan that I did the first time. I could just use the rope to go over here and go through the door.
Sure, I get that. I guess I'm just saying like, and like I said, this is in the eye of the beholder. Like, is it fun like to do it like multiple different times over again? And I think the answer for a lot of people still is like, no, not really. Like, I'd rather just be in, like, a new dungeon. And I think that's fair. So I would say, not a hot take. I would say that this is, like, just below a hot take. But maybe we could compromise and say neutral. I don't know.
We can compromise and say neutral. I think this is ice cold. Just, like I said, my personal opinion.
Let's do one last has to dance here. All right. There it is, everybody. Thank you so much for submitting your Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks, ice cold takes, hot takes, everything in between there. I feel like we got, well, I don't know, actually. I feel like it was pretty balanced. It was skewing more Spirit Tracks at the beginning, but Phantom Hourglass pulled up at the end, which is good to see. We are going to get out of here, so thank you, everyone that helped us out and submitted questions and hot takes and all that kind of stuff. Of course, you could give us a follow over on Blue Sky. We are at the Zelda Cast, at Spiteri316, at Allison Aletha, and you can check us out wherever you get your podcasts. So go and like and subscribe and rate and recommend, review. Keep leaving those comments on Spotify. I've been trying to comment with everybody. Thank you to everyone that said what a great job that Sam did last week. That was very nice. And yeah, if you got a Zelda fan in your life, I mean, hey, tell them where they can get their weekly Zelda fix. Tell them about the Zelda Cast. That would be really awesome. ZeldaDungeon.net. It's got you covered for all of your Zelda needs. If you're planning on playing one of these games in the near future and you get stuck on your 5th or 6th or 7th trip to Temple of the Ocean King, ZeldaDungeon.net. Got the guides, maps, everything that you need to get unstuck. And of course, if you really want to take your Zelda love to the next level, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/spnet. Gooey and I have actually launched a brand new Zelda Cast XL bonus show where it's kind of like a little variety show. So we had a lot of fun with that. We released the first episode. We got a lot of good feedback to it. So go and check that out. And that, my friends, is going to do it for us. So until next week, everybody, take care.
Bye.
Hey everyone! If you enjoyed this clip and want to see more of the Zelda Cast, make sure to head over to your favorite podcast platform of choice and subscribe. There are over 200 episodes in the vault that will provide you with hundreds of hours of Zelda content for you to enjoy. You can listen to us when you're on a walk, fighting Ganon, trying to sleep, whatever. And if you want to see these shows as they happen, make sure to head over to twitch.tv/the Zelda Cast, where you can watch our beautiful faces talk about Zelda every single week. Don't miss out, and we'll see you next time.